Hello and welcome to Colour Multimedia Enterprises. My name is Luke, also known as Tienery, and I am going to create a project called OpenFledit. No, really, that's what it's called, OpenFledit. It's a weird pun, to say the least. At least that's what I thought when I created the project. But this project is specifically designed to be a visual editor for OpenFL. You're probably wondering why. One of the main reasons why is because of the tedium that comes with creating OpenFL projects. As you are probably well aware, if you are creating an OpenFL project yourself, you are probably aware of how tedious it can be to create text fields, sprites, and perhaps bitmaps as well. Well, maybe not so much sprites, but definitely text fields, that I can assure you. If you are one of those people that really do not like boilerplate code, you're going to be happy about this project, because this is something that I desperately want to create. I have been trying to create a project like this for quite a while now. I was thinking of initially creating something that was going to be a commercial product. It was going to be written in C#, and then I decided actually that maybe I want to create it in Haxe. So I toyed around with Haxe a bit, and I just kept going back and forth. Eventually I came up with the decision, you know what, I'm going to create a project in Haxe. It's going to be, the reason why is because of a few things. The first reason why is because while I am learning and trying to understand exactly how the Haxe reflection and type system works, I can also get into the nitty-gritty of exactly how Haxe interfaces with OpenFL and how we can make it so that when we add things in this editor and be able to drag and drop and things like that, that we would be able to do it as smoothly as possible without needing to compile or anything like that. Now, there's a few ways in which we can do this. The first way was, this is just my brain talking at the moment, the first way is to create an editor that generates code. And that can be a good thing, but it can also be kind of a bad thing at the same time, because the text field in OpenFL is actually terrible. I have to be honest, it is actually awful. It might get perfect one day, but that one day could be several months away for all we know. It's been broken for at least a year, that I can assure you. It works better in Legacy, and now it's just worse. So yeah, I'm not entirely sure what's going on there. A recent text-filled application using input and adding it into a sprite and modifying the width and height properties of the text field causes it to blur and stretch like mad. It's absolutely insane. But yes, there's a lot of things that need to be fixed with the text fields, and I would love it if OpenFL didn't mess it up all the time. But anyway, enough about text fields and why they're terrible, and more about what this project is going to be. So, we're not going to be doing code generation, at least to a certain extent, but what we will be doing is generating JSON formatted text and being able to load that in an editor like Flash Develop later on, when we decide to actually put the code into the application itself. So this visual editor is not going to be a fully fledged IDE. Absolutely not. It's not going to be anywhere near that. Haxe and OpenFL is not good enough to do such a thing. I'm sorry, Josh, if you're watching this, but OpenFL I don't think is going to be good enough, at least for another year, for a fully fledged IDE. That being said, it is capable of doing the thing that I wanted to do, which is in fact to be able to drag and drop things, just simply make it easier to generate JSON formatted text and then being able to load that into a project that we would then use to create our game, if that makes sense. So it's going to take a while to demonstrate exactly how this project is going to work, so let me just get started with exactly what's going to happen. So first things first is we want the ability to create text fields and bitmaps on the screen, right? So let's start with text fields, ironically. So I think first of all we should probably import the text field class, probably a good idea, and if we go down here I am going to now create a I don't know whether I should create a button or just a bit of text that says create text field. I suppose it doesn't really matter at this point, at this stage in the project. I guess it doesn't really matter. But anyway, let's create a button. So we'll call it a simple button, which will create a text field, right? So we're going to say simple button, and this button is going to have some assets. So it's going to be a variety of images. Let's open up paint.net. And all I'm going to do is something extremely simple, right? It's just going to be a very simple T, as if it is a text field that we're going to create when it eventually loads. There we go. So let's create a new file, make that 32 by 32. I'm not going to do too much drawing in paint.net because obviously this isn't a paint.net tutorial, but while I can use paint.net, I'm not an expert. Okay, let's use a different font as well. Font, not thont. Yes. Okay, again, it doesn't really matter what font I use, just use that one, whatever. And text a bit bigger, like that. Okay, that will do. So I'm just going to save that, and I am going to put that in where my project is, wherever that is. Just copy and paste that into here, so that you don't get to see any of my folders. Okay, so let's just say this is a text field, right? Text field icon. So this will allow us to create a text field, and in here I am going to say, so we're going to do import OpenFL. Yes, come on, there we go. So that's assets, and the upstate is of course going to be assets dot get bitmap data, and that is going to be image text field icon.png. like that. And that's all we're going to do. We're not going to use any of the overstate, downstates or hit tests. Don't need that. So now what we want to do is we want to add an event listener that will add a text field to the screen. Simple enough. So I'm going to say btn.add event listener. It is going to be a mouse event, which doesn't actually exist in the import. Mouse events. There we go. And that is of course going to be click, and when we click on it we want to create a new text field. So var txt is equal to new text field, like that, and we want to, well, add it to the screen. So we're just going to say add child txt, like that. Simple enough. Now we know that's going to work, right? So I'm not going to even show you. But in fact, actually, fine. I'll show you, and then I'll show you why it's a terrible idea. So, don't do build, do test. Right. So we're going to test this project. Oh. Upstate, overstate, downstate, hit test. Oh, of course. That's supposed to be a new bitmap, which is going to be one of those. Right. Now, as you can see, you can't actually see that text filled because obviously it's black. So let's fix that real quickly. Build it again, or test it again. Almost the same thing. Okay. Oh yes. I forgot to add it. Add child. BTN text field. Might help. Okay, here we go. So we've got this TX. Why is it flickering? Why has it done that for? Oh. Why would you do that? You know, if they were better programmers, I wouldn't have this problem. No offense, Josh. Let's go to Haxe Toolkit. This is just going to be a real quick fix. I do apologize for this. OpenFL 3.3.6. Display. Simple button. Wow. There we are. I did in Notepad++. There we go. Right. So, where is it? Function new. Right. Okay. Generate default state. Why would you want to do that for? What's generate default state doing? To a new display object. Yeah, but that's just an empty object. Why would you want to do that? Oh my god. I don't know. I really don't. Set overstate. Get set current state. If current state is equal to state, return state, blah blah blah. Right, switch state. Right, so here it is. This on mouse down. If down state is not equal to null, or not. Wait a minute. Let's think. Because it's creating a new. No, I'm just going to fix this. Right. We don't care if it's null, right? We're just going to say overstate. We're also going to say downstate here, right? Sorry for messing about with OpenFL code. If anything wrong happens, I'll fix it and waste even more time. Okay. Let's go down to here. So, if downstate is not null, then current state is going to be equal to that. If upstate is not equal to current state, and actually we don't need to do that. If overstate is not equal to current state is equal to overstate. That's what's causing the flickering. Because when we hover over because it doesn't take into consideration transparency, which again is terrible, because it doesn't take into consideration transparency, it's causing this flickering to go on every time we hover over the text part of the actual bitmap image itself. And it's this bit here that's causing the flickering. And overstate is not null. This on mouse up. If overstate is not null. Else current state is equal to upstate. Now that should be fine. So now, when we build it, Nico doesn't like nulls, so okay, when we hover over it, nothing happens. Okay, good. That's what it's supposed to do. And now, as you can see, we've got this cursor thing going on, which obviously identifies that there's a text field in the background. But let's just display some text to see that is in fact happening. So this is some text, just so that you can see it. Okay. No. Test it. There we go. So when we click on it, it then says this is some text. Can't edit it, but we can select it. And that is that. Now, as you can also see, that is preventing us from actually clicking on this button now, because it's above the because this text field is above this button. So we probably want to fix that. In fact, what would be a better idea is actually creating some kind of canvas to put everything in. So let's do that. Let's create canvas here, which is going to extend sprite, as you might imagine. Extend sprite. We're also going to create import text field. And in here, what I'm going to do is have a simple function that just simply says add object, right? So we're just going to say public function add object, and that can be a display object of any type. So obj display object, and we're just going to say add child obj. Not that it really matters. So now what I want to do is I want to create that canvas, and when I do, I actually want to, let's add an event listener. I am going to import event. Now this is mainly because I don't trust OpenFL whenever I use the graphics API. Last time I tried it without doing the added to event stage, it ended up not doing it. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. I really don't know why. Maybe it's just me. But anyway, this is going to be it's going to be white. But let's also have a border. Let's make a line style. We're going to have a thickness of 1, color of black, and yeah. And now we're just going to say graphics.drawRect. That's going to be from 0, 0, and the width is going to be whatever we pass in. Width, float, height, float, width, and height. Like that. Alright. So now, what I'm going to do is, instead of doing that, I'm going to create a canvas, and that is where we're going to be generating our text fields. Canvas, like that. So when we initialize it, we want it to stretch across the entire screen. So we're going to say lib.current.stage width, and the height is going to be, what was the height of this? 32. Right, so that's going to be lib.current.stage stage height minus 32. If you can imagine. You know what? I'm going to store it as well. So canvas width, which is going to be an int. You can probably tell why I prefer C# over Haxe. I'm sorry, this just takes so long. Having to press shift and colon to then produce this int here, it just takes too long, it really does. I definitely prefer private int instead of the private var, blah blah blah. But you know, what can you do? But anyway. So I want canvas width to be stage, and the canvas height to be that there. So that's going to be canvas width, and canvas height. Yay! Everyone can be happy. Yeah, right. Anyway, so now what I want to do is simply say canvas.x is equal to, no, y is equal to 32, and then when we click, well, first of all we want to add the child, add the canvas, and then when we click on this, what we want to do is say canvas dot add object, even though it doesn't make a difference, new text field, and it would probably be better if we do this var txt is equal to new text field, and saying txt.text, oops, when I can eventually type default text, something like that. Instead of using that, we'll pass in txt. Alright, so now when we test this, we will have a canvas, a separate object that contains our entire scene, right? So here we are. We have our entire scene. Obviously, as you can see, actually the rectangle isn't perfect. It's a bit odd, but you know, what can you do? So when we click on it, it's now being contained in here. Now eventually what we would like to do, or what I would like to do, is be able to, when we click on it, be able to drag it and also modify additional properties. I think that's going to be something for a different video, and that is just a very, very simple version of what this editor is eventually going to be. I think in the next video I will be introducing bitmaps and how to import images, maybe, if we get that far. Maybe we'll import this text field icon.png. But yeah, we're not going to do it the exact same thing, absolutely not. No, if you know what I mean. But anyway, thank you very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this, well, whatever this was, and I will see you next time.